intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour plays. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, you let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race to make merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas not to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth, nigga, cool zone. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Get ground, get ground, back up, get ground, get ground, back up, get ground, get ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay this. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, where the truth sit, hey, where warriors dwell. Be wise with the weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she can see her, she mine. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my aunt, I'm gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die, so you can miss me with that long talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret what that means. Fall on his age. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Long live one West. Say what? Long live one West. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up. I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Get ground, get ground, back up, get ground, get ground, back up, get ground, get ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down, boy.
Hey, shalom, shalom, fam. Clap it up. Clap it up. This is breakdown class. You finna get it on, man.
History. History. History.
Oh, Salaki. Salaki, fam. It's history class. We get ready to get it on, man. It's one thing about black folks, man. One thing that we do, and we've done this traditionally in this country ever since we've been enslaved, man, is that anybody with brown skin, we think is for us. Anybody that halfway look like us, we have traditionally been outflanked by them or fooled by them in such an egregious way that some of these people have been just as horrible as white folks to us, man. And look, it's not a good thing to have other races of people in your neighborhood. I know a lot of us think that it's multiculturalism. It's good for us. The problem is that our oppressor puts those other races over top of us. He's done this traditionally for years, man. Especially the Chinese, the Koreans. He calls them the model minority. And they still use that word to this day. The Chinese will say, we are the model minority. Meaning this is what a minority is supposed to be. How they operate. When a white man, what he needed was allies in Asia, in Central Asia, man. And in Asia Minor. He needed those allies there, man. So the Chinese became a model minority. came over here and were given the legacy and businesses of black people, whereas though they were able to get up over and above black people in this empire, man.
Right.
And it's so egregious because these people, not only have they never fought for this country, not in a capacity that black people have. Black people have fought for the goddamn ideology of America. That all men can be free. We've been fighting for that since the inception of America.
Right.
Chinese people wasn't here. We fought for this country in every war, including the War of Independence and the Civil War. World War I, II, Korea. Good night, we fought for this brutalization, man, and marginalization, man, and gentrification. You understand? That's all we fought for, because we have no inheritance. We don't inherit our businesses. Our businesses go to Chinese people and white people and whatever kind of other people. And we think these people are somehow, in some kind of way, sympathetic or down with us some kind of way. And it isn't true. Not only is it true, concerning the Chinese and the East Indians, they hate us, man.
Right.
They have a special hatred for us that runs ridiculously deep, man. Kamala Harris hates black people. Kamala Harris is not a black woman, man. And to think that we ran out to the voting booth in millions, and a lot of black people said, I'm not voting for Biden, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. We're going to find out what Kamala Harris is. And for you Christians that think that the beasts of the field is lions, tigers, and bears, you're going to find out very differently here today.
Right.
It's not talking about lions and tigers and bears, man. It's a metaphor. It's just the way black folks relate to things because we wrote the Bible. It's our spirit. It's how we talk. It's how we relate to things in our environment. You understand? So the beasts, those beasts of the field, are other nations of people, or as you would say today, other races of people that devour us. They take our inheritance, man. You worrying about the Hispanics. Look, black women used to hold all the operators' jobs in America, all those telecommunication jobs. When you call here about your computer, a black woman would answer the phone. Talk to you nicely, get your problem taken care of. I know I was in the industry. Your help desk, all of that. You would call, because black women ran those offices. Well, your boy Bill Clinton came along. He made sure that America outsourced all of those jobs. Billions, tens of billions of dollars in revenue were lost from those jobs because they went where? To East Indians. So now when you answer the phone, you're of course talking to an East Indian.
Right.
You don't halfway understand them. But these are things that were inherited to black people. And you can't say that they weren't answering the phones right or doing something right, because everybody hates calling over there to India, man. You cannot relate to them people for nothing. You gotta keep saying what you say. 100, you frustrated. You understand? Those jobs were once held by black women to make a decent income to take care of the black family. But they wanted black children selling crack. That's what they wanted. So they gave all of the Chinese our businesses, and they even gave East Indians the corporate jobs that were slotted for us. gone. Even if they bring those particular businesses back to America, the East Indians will get them here. Specifically Kamala Harris, man. Kamala Harris is disgusting. I'm gonna tell you why. Kamala Harris was the top cop of San Francisco, or the district attorney. All right, we gonna get a news clip on some of her doings when she was district attorney. So load that up. We gonna get that first, then we gonna go into the scriptures, and I'm gonna tell you why this is happening to black folks. And that all of this is in the Bible, man. All of this is in the Bible. And we listen to their propaganda like it's actually the truth. That's why it was so beautiful for Donald Trump to be president of the United States. It was so beautiful. I know people say they hate Donald Trump because of this or that, this, that, and the third. He was racist. Yeah, all of that is true. All of that is true. But this is what's eye-opening. His lies, his unending lies, flow through the media. So much so to the point where you had to say, well, goddamn, are all the presidents liars like that? Because his lies were so prevalent, and he said them, and he believed and lived in his lies. It's like he's living in the lie right now that somebody cheated him, and he has a chance to be president again. They've actually said we're preparing for a second term for Donald Trump. Seriously, he actually said that he's preparing for a second term. When we all know that the counts and the votes are in, it's ridiculous. But he lies, so he don't know what the truth is, and that's indicative of every white society. The staple of their community is propaganda, and we're gonna get into that. But Kamala Harris. Kamala, we went out and drove the vote for this woman. You got the video loaded up?
Come on, sir.
Let's run that.
Well, as Senator Kamala Harris rises in the early presidential polls, she's facing increased scrutiny over her record as a prosecutor in California. In 2004, Harris became district attorney of San Francisco. She held the post until 2011, whereupon she became the attorney general of California. We're joined now by Lara Bazelon, a professor at the University of San Francisco School of Law. In January, she wrote a widely read article in the New York Times titled, "Kamala Harris was not a progressive prosecutor." Bazelon wrote, quote, "Time after time, when progressives urged her to embrace criminal justice reforms as a district attorney and then the state's attorney general, Ms. Harris opposed them or stayed silent. Most troubling, Ms. Harris fought tooth and nail to uphold wrongful convictions that had been secured through official misconduct that included evidence tampering, false testimony, and the suppression of crucial information by prosecutors."
Lara Bazelon joins us now from San Francisco. Thank you for joining.
All right, I'm going to tell you what that means, what they just said. So Kamala Harris, she doesn't give a damn how tainted the information is that comes in. She's going to prosecute. She doesn't care how crooked the cop, she's going to prosecute. Because number one, the community that she's doing this to is a Black and Hispanic community largely.
That's right.
These are the people that she's doing this to. She can be as vile as she wants because she wants to get a good prosecutor's record so that she can steadily move up in the system. And what's even better is that she can do it off of the people that she hates, the people that doesn't matter, the people that nobody's gonna question anything, the most vulnerable. You understand? The people who have been robbed of every piece of prosperity. But the people in San Francisco didn't get justice from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris opposed everything that was progressive. Whenever you talk about putting some restraints on police, having body cameras put on police, you understand? Having police prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for breaking the law. If we entrust you with the law and you break it, you should be prosecuted for the fullest extent. Because we gave you extra powers in this society in order to maintain the law. But you're a criminal, and you've done criminal acts while in office. Kamala Harris didn't believe in this. She didn't believe in holding police accountable. She didn't care about that. She cared about her record as a prosecutor, which is absolutely disgusting, especially when it comes to prosecuting cases where police misconduct was involved. Let's continue playing that tape.
Joining us, Professor Bazelon. Can you start off by going through Senator Harris's record, starting with her being DA of San Francisco?
Sure. So she was elected in 2004, and she took a pretty courageous stance initially in that she didn't seek the death penalty against a man who had been accused of murdering a police officer, and she did get a lot of blowback from that. Subsequently, she moved much more towards the center in many of her positions, and two things happened in her tenure as DA that I think are worth mentioning. One is that there was a big crime lab scandal whereby there was a lab technician who was using the drugs rather than testing them, and as a result, many...
All right. So there was a lab technician that was processing the evidence, you understand, in the crime lab, testing for drugs, various biochemical things that may have been left on a crime scene to find out, does this belong to this person, DNA test, things like that. Now, when you're dealing with any lab work, it has to be beyond suspicion. Now, you had a lab worker in San Francisco that was taking cocaine out of the evidence, not only using the cocaine, but changing lab results in order to, of course, make her record look better. They found out about this. Kamala Harris's office knew about this months in advance, but kept prosecuting black men based upon tainted lab evidence. A white cocaine head that was removing cocaine from evidence, using it. How? And then blamed it on the stress of the job. And just to go off a little bit, after being found guilty of this, her name was Maddie. Her last name was Maddie. And after being found guilty of stealing cocaine out of evidence and tainting the lab results so that innocent people went to prison, she got a year on house arrest. I'm just saying, just to go off a little bit on that. So you see, we don't get no justice in any area of this. And Kamala Harris knew this. And you know what she did? She did not drop the cases associated with these tainted lab results. So you don't know what this woman tainted and what she did. Kamala Harris went after every single person, and her office did not want to drop one case associated with this. It turns out that a whole lot of them got dropped. But Kamala Harris did her best to put black men behind bars. Roll on with it.
many convictions became tainted, and it turned out that her office had known for months, top attorneys had not disclosed that information to the defense. And when a judge found out, she became quite incensed and wrote an opinion castigating Harris for allowing this to happen. Harris's reaction to that was to try to get the judge disqualified by saying that she had a conflict of interest because her husband was a defense lawyer. That failed, and 600 cases were thrown out. The second piece of her tenure that I think is important that not a lot of people know about is a case involving a man named Jamal Truelove. That case was tried by Linda Allen, who was one of Harris's deputies. And the case against Truelove turned on one eyewitness. It was a one eyewitness identification case. He was convicted and sentenced to 50 years to life. And the Court of Appeals threw out that conviction, castigating what Allen had done as gross and egregious prosecutorial misconduct. They said that her closing.
Look, man, on the end of that piece with that lab technician, they threw out 600 and some cases. Kamala Harris's office knew about this. They knew about what this woman was doing. They were at the least complicit with it. At best, criminally negligent. Allowing these convictions to stand, knowing that every piece of that evidence was tainted, did not disclose any of this to the defense. None of it. Continue to allow these black men to go to prison for things that they did not do. And how can they fight against the courts? With what kind of money, man? Like only a monster would do that. Only a goddamn devil would do that, man. See, and we believe in these people because we don't go into their background and find out what the hell they are about. This woman was about aggressively prosecuting black men. And how did we know it was about black men? Because her record on prosecuting white people is very different. It's very different. It looks similar, just like around the country, what these prosecutors do to black people. White people, for the same crimes, they're giving black people 15% more time. But for Kamala Harris, that number went up another 13% when it comes to black people. She prosecuted every black person she could find to move up in her career. And only somebody who has something personal against a specific race of people could do it like that, man. And not prosecute white people the same way. Even if you say she was ambitious, it wasn't about race. She didn't do the same thing to white people. She didn't enrage the white community because they know that they could have did something about it and their voice would have been heard.
Right.
But as much as black people scream, she knew nobody's going to listen, man. Let's get the rest of that.
Argument was a yarn made out of whole cloth. Recently, Truelove sued the city of California, the city of San Francisco, and won a $13.1 million judgment.
Now, you've also written about another case.
Truelove, the brother Truelove, like she prosecuted this brother. If there was one person that supposedly witnessed it, and this person changed their story 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, supposedly witnessed the brother doing something, it wasn't even him. It wasn't even him. Kamala, even knowing this, even knowing the history of the person that said that it was the brother, and knowing the circumstances in the situation, she went after him full-blown anyway. Destroyed and ruined his life. Thankfully, that brother got a couple of $1 million to satiate the pain that he had went through, man. That was ridiculous. And you know a black man can't get multiple millions of dollars unless they can prove that they did a real miscarriage of justice to the brother. You know they ain't giving black people no multi-millions of dollars for no bull crap. This brother went through hell dealing with Kamala, and he ain't the only one.
Right.
He ain't the only one. Play it.
Case George Gage, could you talk about that as well?
Yes, and this is what prompted me really to write this piece. It's Harris's record on wrongful convictions. So after True Love, there was Gage, and there was Johnny Baca, and Daniel Larson, and a man named Jose Luis Diaz. And in these cases, what happened was that Harris was at that point the AG, the top official in the state of California, the top prosecutor. And when these convictions came up, they had been handled by lower DAs, and it was her job to decide whether or not to defend them. In George Gage's case, he had been convicted again based on a single witness. It was his stepdaughter, Marion, who accused him of sexually abusing her. And the case turned on Marion's testimony. It turned out after the verdict that the prosecutor had suppressed a lot of material about Marion, including medical records and a note from her own mother saying, "My daughter is a pathological liar who lives her lies." And rather than acknowledge that this really terrible thing had happened, that this prosecutor had held back information that might have swayed the verdict, what Harris's attorneys went into court and did was say, look, George Gage, who had been forced to act as his own lawyer, didn't raise his claim in exactly the right way, and so for this technical reason, you should affirm that conviction. It went to oral argument, and the judges were very concerned about that position, told the deputy to go back and talk to his supervisors to try to resolve the case, which was a signal to really get rid of it and do the right thing. And instead, Harris's office doubled down, and George Gage is currently 80 years old. He is serving a effective death in prison sentence.
I want to go to an interview.
So you have multiple brothers whose lives have been destroyed based on tainted evidence that Kamala Harris knew about. And I don't just take any little white woman's word for anything. We go and research. I researched these names. I researched these situations, and it's absolutely true. Now, Kamala Harris is criminally negligent for what she did in black communities. You can't in any way be against systematic racism and you are causing it. You can't be against systematic racism when you are a main component of it in a major city. And now you want an international stage in which to do your evil. Black people, we don't research, man. We don't research nothing. We saw a brown face thinking that this woman is going to do something for us. Because for real, we don't want to be bothered with it, man. We want to cast a vote and go home. And we see year after year, month after month, day after day, it's getting worse for our people. Give me Ephesians 2:2, man. All we want to do is bury our goddamn head in the sand with a vote. Thinking we voting in Kamala Harris and she gonna come and help and save black people. This woman hates black people with a resounding hatred. She never grew up with black people or dealt with the issues that black people face. She grew up as an East Indian. Her father's family was a white slave owner. A rich white slave owner who has an entire town in Jamaica named after him, Brownsville. It's unconscionable what this woman is related to, number one. And number two, the crime that she's committed against the black community. You ask black people in San Francisco, is she a sister? Is she damn? You ask the brother True Love, Is she a good sister if she down? She got the one brother in prison for a life sentence for something he did not do. Something he did not do that she know he did not do. And then she come in touting her record as being a progressive when she was anything but. She's lying. It's a lie. It is the main staple of white society, and Kamala Harris is a white woman raised as an East Indian. East Indians have a particular hatred for black people. They're all throughout the Caribbean, and they detest black people. Kamala Harris grew up with that racist mentality. She never even identified as black until it helped her politically. Let's get that Ephesians.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world.
Look, black people, we're walking according to the course of this world. We're dealing with all the propaganda and lies that white folks are spurting off through the TV, through the internet, and every goddamn where else without taking the proper time to fact check anything. Do you not know? And look, I'm an information technologist. I know y'all think a lot of us don't have a job or uneducated.
Right.
Because we love black people. And you have to be uneducated to love black people. I know that's what a lot of people think, but it is not true. All right. I understand the flow of data. All right. There's 7 layers in information technology. All right. There's 7 layers. And of those layers, so like,
Right there.
all right. There's 7 layers in in computer technology: application, presentation, session, transport, data link, routing, and hardware. All right. They're able to push data according to the things you might like to buy, according to your political affiliations. They can push data to you to make you believe a certain way. This is the way it works, bro. This is the information technology age. You understand me? You ever to yourself, don't get me started. Now, you ever to yourself been talking to yourself and say, I forgot to get an oil change, I gotta get an oil change. And then it pops up on your phone, different places you can get an oil change at, different discounts. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Propaganda is real. It is the main staple of every white society. All right, this is the history class, right?
Come.
All right. Adolf Hitler, Second World War, Nazi Germany. He had a minister of propaganda. His name was Joseph Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels said, no matter how large the lie, as long as you say it over and over again with repetition, forceful and diligent, the people will be forced to believe it. Why would you need to have a propaganda minister, which is basically a minister of lies, to spin everything that you're doing? This is the main staple of white society. All right? Every time you get a dictator or leader of any white society, they come up with a a propaganda message that's very similar to Isupkbmore. You understand? Very similar to that. No matter how big, the lie is that you need to tell, all you got to do is tell people and say it over and over again with conviction. They'll believe it. Like they are Trumpers right now. Trump's base right now that are out there saying that we were cheated out of an election. Now, mind you, they have come up with no evidence at all of one ballot being wrong or misrouted or taken out. It is absolutely stupendous, but these people believe that. And to go a little bit off, they also believe that black people put Joe Biden in office. Black people are only 13% of the population of America. Even if every black person in America voted, there would not be enough votes to put anybody in a national, federal, presidential office. It's just not enough votes from black people to do that, but they swear it was black people that tipped them over. That's a lie. It's not true. You understand? It's just not true. Our votes are really in vain. You understand? We put all our hopes and dreams into Kamala Harris, and look what she was. What she was is going to tell you what she's going to do. I'm going a little off. Let's get back to Ephesians. Read it from the top.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. Wherein time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air.
According to the prince of the power of the air. Another title of the devil. Because he moves. He has the power of the air to move data. He controls the television. He controls the airwaves, the cable channels, the satellite channels. He controls the backdoor channels. All of it is his propaganda. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, all of it is his lies. The entire history of black people in America are lies. Who he say God is, who he say Christ is a lie. What they say Christ looked like is a lie. Like white supremacy circulates a picture of Christ being blonde-haired and blue eyes around the world. But the Bible says something completely different. And yet they still push the narrative that Christ was a white man. Regardless of all the evidence to say in contrary of that, they push that narrative regardless. And more people believe the lies of white supremacy than believe what's written in the Bible. Am I lying with them? It's written in the Bible that the man has burnished brown skin.
Come.
Burnished brass skin. Salaki. Burnished brass. The color of brass as if it was burned in a furnace. But people will pick up a white with blonde hair. That's him. I'm going to put this in my house. That's him. Your grandmother dare you to take that picture down. Dare you. She have a heart attack, you take that picture down. It's a lie. It is the main staple of white society. They are the prince of the power of the air. And they're very good at it. Read them.
the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
We act like the oppressor. We act like white folk, man. You know what a thug is? A thug is a young Irish boy that mugged people on the street. That's what a thug is, man. You understand? Irish gangs and Italian gangs, they got together to form what's known today as organized crime. To form criminality that could not be dealt with by local law enforcement. You needed the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the CIA to deal with this level of sophistication of crime and debauchery. But we model ourselves after that. You understand? That's where Little Gotti comes from. And Scarface and Gambino and all your rappers. That's where they get their names from. Acting white. Little Gotti. Like I'm a little gangster like Gotti. Gotti is a murderer. He puts people to death. And Whitey Bulger. And these are the people that we try to model ourselves after. And put out as to being somehow models of black society. You understand? Daz Dillinger. Dillinger? Wasn't he killed for robberies and other criminal acts of rape and murder and whatever he was doing? Why would we want to model our society after them? That's not what rap was about. It's because the people who came with serious hip hop, the way it was supposed to be, like Public Enemy, that type of stuff began to get frowned upon, and then you had the gangster rappers. And that's what white Jewish producers paid for and paid you to be. You are who they pay you to be, because nobody gives a damn about real black culture. So we sell it to white producers who prostitute us out, man. Take our talent and make it and turn it into something that criminalizes us. How can your culture endorse hoardism, bad biatches, and killers, killer this and killer that? Why would your culture endorse criminality? Our artistry wasn't meant for that.
Right.
But it is something that propaganda taught us to do. And they push this throughout the world so that every race of people think that we are strained on the social systems, like housing. That's why we got to be put in projects, because we have so many babies. We're immoral, and the system can't handle it, which is a lie. That's why our babies need to be aborted, because we have so many out of wedlock and they end up being criminals. That's a damn lie. But they push this throughout the earth so that East Indians and the Chinese and Japanese all think that we all born criminals. And they all hate us. Like Kamala Harris. Right. She was raised East Indian in the Caribbean. Look up the way East Indians in the Caribbean hate black people, man. And you'll get your answer to Kamala Harris. Any more of that?
Sir. You want to go 3?
Go.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 3. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh.
Good night. In the lust of our flesh. What the hell don't we do for the lust of our flesh? That's America. Living in America is living in the lust of your flesh. That's what the hell it is. That's why everybody does anything. You want a new car? For the lust of your flesh. You want new clothes, good smelling perfume? For the lust of your flesh. You want pork, expensive lobster and crabs? For the lust of your flesh. You want to have sex with every hoe and every goddamn thing you can do for the lust of your flesh. You're a man and want to have sex with another man for lust. It ain't love. It ain't because you was born a woman for real. It's the lust of your flesh. Because you can't say no to the lust of your flesh. It must be satiated. Why? Because you listen to wicked propaganda. You learn about black culture from white propaganda. That's where you learn it from. All the rap music is being produced, distributed, warehoused by white Jewish producers, all of it. They're using the talent of young black men to destroy themselves. And to debase black culture with their debauchery and filth. Let's read on.
Fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind.
Any more?
Come.
Read on.
And were by nature the children of wrath, even as others.
Could I read that last part again?
Fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others.
Good night, man. Good night. Tell you something, man. We in America fulfilling every lust of the flesh, of every goddamn thing they tell us that we need to fulfill, man. That we need to be okay with. We have to be okay with lesbianism and homosexuality. We must be okay with this to get along. We must be okay with whatever they've done to us in the past. The murder, the experiments, the slavery. We must be okay with these things in order to move forward, except we ain't moving forward. All of our inheritance, all of our legacies have been given to another people. Check this out. Even if you're a rich black person, how many generations does that prosperity last? Even though you bust your butt on a football field or basketball field, whatever goddamn field you was on, in a stock market, whatever the hell you done done. How long will Magic Johnson's legacy last? When his son spending all his inheritance on butt implants and no jobs, sex changes, to turn his penis inside out so another penis can go inside of it. How long is he going to have the legacy of of Irvin Johnson, Magic Johnson. Forget about it, man. Forget about it. All right? One more thing, brother. Let's load that other video up.
You didn't want to finish that up?
Yeah. We done enough of that. Look.
Come.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are such good friends now, right? They on one accord, right? They on one accord right now. They all good friends. You know why? Because Kamala Harris was running for president. It's very interesting what she said to Joe Biden. She was so disgusted by what Joe Biden did with busing. He didn't want to bus Lord Negros. Lord Negro girls to white schools. He didn't want to do that. And he was right. He was right not to want to do that. How do you want to push your children to go to school with your enemy who's going to teach you their history, their view of history, who are absolute professionals at propaganda? Is it any wonder that black people hate black people? Good night. You going to school with the propaganda specialist. He who has spent thousands of years learning to lie professionally. He gave the art of lying a name, propaganda. That's the art and the science of the lie. Put a little bit of truth, change it, twist it, turn a little corner, and you got a whole different ideology out of what happened when it was just a lie. That's all. Everything Trump says is a lie. Everybody knows that. We go back and look at Kamala Harris's record. She was not progressive. She was full out hate for Negroes. She wanted the war on drugs. She appreciated how the war on drugs came about. She appreciated how it destroyed the black community. We all know that the more patrols you have in black communities, the most heavily patrolled areas of black communities are the most crime-ridden. After 50 years of the war on drugs, war on crime, pounding and beating the black community, when we know that all of these drugs come out of the most wealthiest counties in America. But we waged a war in black communities. All of those heavily policed communities are still to this day the most crime-ridden. Why? Why? Who's failing here? You can't destroy an entire community and neighborhood and think that they're going to straighten up. The data proves it. Kamala Harris destroyed. She destroyed San Francisco's black community. She stepped on their necks for 8 years. Not 8 minutes, but 8 years. The community has never recovered. But we went and voted for her in droves anyway. Ain't we tired of being suckers? Her running mate right now, she went against, she couldn't stand him for his views on busing black kids into white neighborhoods. Couldn't stand it. So why is she his running mate? Let's hear what she said, man. You got that loaded up?
Come, sir.
All right, let's hear what she said, bro. Go ahead and get that, man. See what you got, bro.
And I will say also that in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden. I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden, you have been invoked. We are going to give you a chance to respond. Vice President.
Good night, almighty, man. Good night. This woman is saying she was a little girl in California when Biden wouldn't bus her to the white school. She was so upset. And so now,
Right there. No, right there.
okay. So now, you understand, you working with a man, you know, tooth and nail with a man that you felt as though destroyed your life. You saying it hurt you as a little girl that they wouldn't bus you to these white schools. So why are you working with this man that did that? You can take that down. You can take it down, man.
Come.
Why are you working with a man that did all of this to you? Now move over this way. Move over.
Right there. Yep, there you go. In the middle.
All right, you can take that down. You don't deal with the video.
Come.
All right, so still a little bit of running. Try to set it up a little bit. All right, so now Kamala Harris goes any way that the goddamn wind blows. She'll go in any way because she don't give a damn about helping people or giving people justice or doing any damn thing for black people. She cares about her career. She's very ambitious and she hates black people at the same time. So she was able to climb up the ladder on our backs. And then, how disgusting it is to say that I'm the first black woman to do it. You're not black. There's a little bit of black on you from your father's side mother. So your father was mixed with Indian and some black. His mother was mixed with, his wife was mixed with Indian and some black, and the grandfather was white. How the hell does that make you black? The mother's mixed with some black and Indian, and then the father is pure white. How does that make you a black woman? That's ridiculous. It's preposterous. The brown in her is from the East Indian. She comes from the Dravidian side, man. They're darker. That's where the skin color comes from. can't deny she's brown skinned, but she's not of our nation. She's never dealt with the things that we've had to deal with in life, man. The carnage that we've had to deal with, the tragedies that we had to deal with. Kamala Harris ain't dealt with none of that. She grew up with her mother as an East Indian with a damn red dot in the middle of her damn head. She ain't grown up in the projects of San Francisco, Baltimore, New York, or Texas. She ain't been stopped by a police officer, beaten and assaulted. That crap ain't never happened to her. Give me, matter of fact, let's get back in this Bible. Let's get it on, man. Give me, Amos 9:4. Let's find out something in this Bible. We cannot recognize our enemies. Regardless of what skin color they have, we got to recognize who our enemies are. When I want justice and I can't get justice, that person is my enemy. And you taking and violating the natural human rights of black people, you are my enemy. You got me serving life in jail for one witness that has been discredited. You got me serving life in jail on a damn death penalty by people who tainted lab results. And you knew it. You are my enemy.
What was that again?
You got that Amos 9:4.
Come on.
All right, read that.
Amos chapter 9, verse 4. And though they go into captivity before their enemies.
And though they go into captivity, we are in captivity. We don't say what business we can open on what street. The white man does. He controls zoning in your communities, meaning he can say, I don't want this kind of business on this block. I'm not going to certify you for this business on this block because I don't want it there. It's as simple as that. That's how racism is carried out in the 21st century. Through zoning and certification practices. You understand? If I want to open a bowling alley on Chariton Road, the white man is going to say, well, we don't want a bowling alley there because it might impede traffic. And then you can't open a bowling alley. You understand? These are the miscarriages of justice and the crimes that we have to deal with. Or you can say, I want to open a business here. It's clear of any traffic. Somebody else has a business close by. They'll say, well, we can't certify you because you will be taking business from this other person's business. I thought it was a country of pulling up your bootstraps. And who worked the hardest succeed.
Right.
That's a lie, black man. It's all propaganda, remember that. The prince of the power of the air. It's all a lie. It's all propaganda, man. Go ahead, brother.
Thence will I command the sword,
Go ahead.
and it shall slay them.
Hey, look. The Lord is saying he commands the sword. This is the Lord, so it can't be a Lord of all love, because he's saying, I command the sword. Because as black people, we want to love every other nation but ourselves. Who the hell else can be the nation of Israel? Look, the Lord made laws and statutes for us not to serve the other nations? Because we always want to go into the other nations and serve their damn gods. We want to forsake our inheritance. We're the ones that serve the real God, the true God. We want to forsake that and go worship newly gods that newly came up, false gods, unreal, instead of a God that took us out of Egypt with power and with force, with love and fortitude. We'll give that up. Who the hell else could be the people of Israel? But I don't know.
I don't know.
Who the hell else could be the people of Israel?
Right.
Why would the Lord need to make a statute and a law
Right.
not to go into the ways of the heathen? Should you not be intelligent enough to say, this is my God, I'm going to serve him. I'm not going to serve the God of the East Indians.
Right.
I'm not going to serve the God of the white man. I'm not going to serve Buddha, the God of the Chinaman. I'm going to serve the nigger God. Wouldn't you be smart enough to do that?
Right.
Wouldn't you be smart enough to read the Bible and see that the Most High God has a hair of pure wool, unmolested? You understand? That has no product in it, no Jerry curl. It's like the pure wool. This is a black man with an afro. We don't want to serve him. We want to serve some disgusting God with 6 hands, 7 hands that Cardi B was in a damn photo shoot looking like. We want to serve Allah, a rock out in the desert that we got to circle 7 times. Make love to a rock. All right, what else you got on there?
And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good.
You wonder why the Lord didn't set us up for evil, man. You wonder why the Lord didn't set us up to be so destroyed. You want to ask why. He's not a God of all love. There are conditions to his love. Meaning, stop trying to serve Buddha. Stop trying to serve Elam. Stop trying to serve Kamala. Because Kamala hates you. And you have to assume every goddamn heathen hates you.
Right.
You can't be a Chinaman and come out of a third world country off of a goddamn rice paddy field, come into Latrobe Projects and make $1 million owning businesses that were previously owned by black men for a century. You take the inheritance of black people and smile and dance. We allow every race of people to take every goddamn thing for us and think that it's progress. Don't every black person say, we came so far? Ain't that what they say? We don't own a pot to piss in black communities. It don't work for our children.
Right.
Black communities don't work for our children. When can our children go and work? Can they go to the supermarket and get a job, clean it up with Chinese people? No. They hire their goddamn people. What can they do? Go get a package from their boy. I gotta explain this every goddamn week. Where we at? Can I give you another scripture?
Sir.
All right, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 48. If a man robs you of your goddamn inheritance, puts you in jail, put dope in your community, and then criminalize you, put your children behind bars, destroy your goddamn family, newsflash, black people, that's your enemy. That's how you can tell who your enemy is. Newsflash. You may not like what somebody is saying, but look into the truth of what they're saying. Look into the truth. The truth gotta matter. I know in a post damn Trump era, it don't matter that much, but it gotta matter to us. Who takes my justice when I need justice? Who takes my freedom when I need freedom? Who murders me and I can't touch? Who takes me in every way and I can't do a damn thing about it, even if I give my life? You have an enemy, black man. You have an enemy. You better recognize who that enemy is. Where you at, brother?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
We are in America serving our enemies. Is there any doubt? If you doubt that you're serving your enemy, go to the store and buy some juice. Go to the store and buy a shirt. Go to the store and buy some eggs. Buy some meat. And then come back and tell me who you purchased it from.
Right.
And then you will fully understand that all of this comes from your enemy, because he's obtaining prosperity while our labor is being stolen, used to create resources that we don't benefit from. We're not a partner in America. We don't play the role of partner. We play the role of the exploited. You got any more on that?
Come.
Go ahead.
In hunger and in thirst.
In hunger and in thirst. Don't tell me you're not hungry, black man. You're hungry. You're hungry. And it is just not understandable how hard you work in this empire and still we can't get nowhere as a people. While Chinese people and East Indian people have communities, we don't even know where the hell they at. But they have their own businesses, they hire their own children, they keep their neighborhood clean because their neighborhood works for them. It produces an income for them to live and thrive. How can I ask the youth of black America to clean up these communities and neighborhoods when they don't even belong to me and we don't benefit from them? He's not able to get a job at a goddamn grocery store to try to supplement the rent because his mother on crack. How can you ask a young black man to pick up his trash when he don't and is never going to benefit from the community he finds himself in? He's only there to enrich Chinese people, Korean people, East Indian people, and white people. And once he's finished being used and exploited, he's usually arrested.
Right.
How many time check, bro?
8:30.
6:30. All right. Did I give you the next scripture?
We was in the middle of that Deuteronomy.
Oh, we still don't do the Deuteronomy?
Come
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And in nakedness,
Go ahead.
and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Come on, man. These are curses by the Lord. He said we're going to be in want of all things. He's going to put a yoke around our neck. God damn. It's a damn glass ceiling. It's there. Every black man can feel it. I can't open up a business in my community to make money. I can't open up a business in your community to make money. So what the hell do you want me to do? You're mad at me if I sell dope. You're mad at me if I become a criminal. But that's some of the only lanes that you open and allow me to have access to. Let me get a shout out to all the black men that found another avenue.
Right.
Let me let's get a black men and women a hand, man, that didn't fall victim to this animal wanting us to be criminals. That didn't fall victim to they dope and they garbage and they robbery. Even if we didn't go into the Most High, we understood that the Most High is strong. And we can depend on him. And there's something stronger than white society that moves us into criminality. I want to give a shout out to all these black people that would not have it. Would not have their masculinity being toyed with. Black men that stayed strong. I want to give a shout out to them. Black women who stayed loyal to their black men.
Right.
Who didn't give a damn about white people's propaganda about a black man gonna leave you, he ain't gonna never stand around, you should abort your children, you don't need no man. I give a shout out to all them black women who said, the hell with you. Much love and respect, man. That's what we need. Strength. Black woman, lean on your black man for that strength. You lean on him. You don't go for people like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris don't give a goddamn about black women. She doesn't. She'll lock up all the black men she can lock up. She's with a white man right now. If she had any respect for black people, like she's with a white man. A white Jewish man, if I'm not mistaken, ain't it?
Right.
A white Jewish man. And she up coloring up with, having sex with, doing whatever, but she wants you to believe that she's black. She can't even name a goddamn rapper. She went on what, the Breakfast Club? They said name a rapper that's alive today and that's kicking it today, she said Tupac. Tupac been dead for 20 years, man. Yeah.
She said?
She said Tupac, man. Because she don't give a damn about black people. She don't care about our culture. All she wants to do is rise on the back of us like every white man and every heathen on earth. I'm tired of them. God damn.
You can dig it. I feel you.
I'm gonna turn the class over to you, brother. Look, anybody got any questions? Let's check the questions. If anybody got any questions, it's just your last little bit of time. You better take it. I'm gonna have my thumb look. You ain't got no questions. I'm gonna turn it over to precinct officer my thumb. And this is why we should never depend on these mamzas. These mamzas who continue to destroy us in the name of white supremacy. And that's who the hell Kamala Harris is. White supremacy. You better believe when they get into office, they're going to formulate plans that destroy black people, and Kamala Harris has no issue or problem with it. Shalom. Teacher Pop, man.
Yeah. Right. Yes, sir. Security announcement. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves in the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. It means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashra. It means tenth of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, up and coming holy convocation. The Feast of Dedication, which is called Hanukkah, the 25th day of the 9th month, by the space of 8 days, Wednesday, December the 9th, 2020, for 8 days. That's in 1 Maccabees, the 4th chapter, the 52nd through the 61st verse. Remind Akib and Aquatium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courteous salute to the teacher, men of Israel, a Majid Shabbat, a Majid Barak, Yahweh Shimei Shabbarakatah, Yahweh Shimei Shabbarakatah, Yazmatah, class dismissed. I'm gonna start.
Nobody tell you crap. You know why? Because I never saw you before. something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus we